Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today, we're going to be talking about Universal Tower Defense and pretty much the part two to the Noob to Pro. The only reason I wanted to make this a part two had to do with the fact that, I mean, what, my bad. Why did it take so long to make this part two? And the reason why is because I needed to do a little bit of grinding to make sure that I had everything prepared for this video. And if you haven't seen the first video, then go ahead and check out the first video. You're going to love it. And it literally explains, if you're a new player, how to literally get the best start in the game no matter what. And you will not succeed. Come on, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this team because I actually love this team loadout that I made right here. But this has to do with something else. We're going to talk about team building. We're going to talk about relics. We're going to talk about what's important in this game and how hard it is to grind very specific things and what you should be doing as you kind of build your team. So we're going to go ahead and move around some characters here, such as just to talk about like what would be the possible build for your team. As of this moment, since we talked about it last video, if you guys do not know last video, we talked about what are the best possible characters to make, and that is going to be Ace. Now, Ace is going to be your pretty much your best character for like a lot of content in the game. He's a hill unit. He has an artifact that allows him to do bonus damage. I'm going to just show you his stats real quick. So he has this artifact right here, the spade accessory. This accessory alone gives him an extra 100% burn damage. His 6th star allows him to do increased burn damage as well. He does a crap ton of burn damage. He works incredibly well with the new crit system. And now we're going to talk about relics, and now we're going to talk about building them and building characters. So, there are a lot of videos that I've seen so far. I've done so much research, as much as I possibly could, to see how good I could possibly be at the game before, like, everything else. And honestly, it's just been really, really annoying because, honestly, a lot of the stuff that they make in this game also gets nerfed, like, right after it releases, or there's some type of bug or exploit or something like that. The devs are pretty quick to patch. So, let's talk about traits real quick. I just want to talk about traits, then we're going to dip into evolutions, then we're going to dip into relics and other stuff like that. First things first, traits and stats. So now that you got Ace and you want to make sure that he's performing and other characters like that in the future, of course, you're going to get a lot of trait rerolls just by playing the game, putting in codes. And I'm going to drop 2 new codes in the chat down below, which will give you guaranteed shinies, which is really, really cool. But there are a couple standout ones that we need to talk about, and those are going to be incredibly good. Now, for instance, we're going to talk about fortunate. Fortunate are for farms. Just put it on the farms. That's it. You're done. Bulma, Speedwagon, every character that makes money, put fortunate. You're good. Any character that uses crit or benefits from crit is going to need duelist. Now, there are some outliers. For instance, characters like Ace don't really need that because he doesn't crit. His flame doesn't crit. Characters like him do not crit, which is why we're not putting crit on him. But trust me, characters like Luffy, Goku Black, crit. All right. Artificer, that one specifically is just for buffer units. If you guys have buffer units, then that's the way to do it. But there are special units that don't require this. Like, for instance, this is like for your virtual idol. This has nothing to do with like any other character like Fran or anything like that. Then it's just, you're not going to get much out of it. Now, Wizard is a lie. You don't want lizard. You don't want Wizard. Wizard sucks. It's just worse because you get dot damage, but honestly, you get more benefits from just having more damage. So dot damage is a lie. We'll talk about some cases, use cases, and stuff like that whenever we get into relics, but of course, we're only talking about traits right now. Astral, incredibly good. If you're going to be running certain characters like, let's say, Ace, stuff like that, characters that do like a lot of afflictions, dot damage, this allows it to stack, Sabo, stuff like that. Now, these make sense. And keep in mind, whenever you run something like Ace, like Sabo, and you want to use their synchro, remember that only one of them needs the synchro. And remember to actually pay attention to all your future synchro characters, because future synchro characters will only benefit from synchro's trait whenever the person, a specific synchro character, has the trait. Now, it's just very, very specific. So just make sure you test it out before rolling traits, especially if you're going for synchros. There's a lot of synchros in the game that are incredibly good, especially synchro drives. But if you get like a ruler on like one of them and then you don't get sacred, or you need astral or something like that on it, and you put it on the wrong character, then you're just going to struggle. Okay. Sacred is just fantastic for if you're using a starter unit or cheap units that you need to put down quickly, or even like support units that need range. Range is huge. Range for Sacred is why people run Sacred on characters like Friend and other stuff like that, and buffer units and cool stuff like that. The reason why is because Sacred is just very important for range. Now, Eternal is kind of a lie. I don't really like Eternal personally. I think that it's like kind of washed compared to a lot of other stuff. Fission is pretty cool. I like it because it does give the range buff, and that's the reason why we put it on Friend. Ruler does give like the range buff, everything else like that. We love it. Nothing too crazy. Besides that, though, you only run Ruler on very specific characters because only specific characters can actually benefit from Ruler. For instance, we're just going to talk about some outliers. Luffy, Goku Black, just a lot of these universal characters do crit, and they need crit damage, and they need crit rate. Ruler doesn't give crit rate, and if you want that 100% crit rate, even if you use supporters like Friend and stuff like that, you're not going to get that crit rate. Now, stats, semi-irrelevant. Now, the reason why is because whenever we actually do talk about stats and stuff like that, the benefits from stats are incredibly negligible. Like, honestly, incredibly negligible. Because we could do something like, let's say, just any character. I could just throw any character up here, and it's just not going to make any sense the second we get it down. Probably, yeah, let's do this. So we're just going to throw Goku Black on here. We're going to go ahead and lock this up, He has 100% worthiness. You should get something good. We re-roll, it's A again. Good job. Now you finished your stat stuff. Now there are loopholes and other stuff like that, but those things get patched out pretty quickly, so I'm not really worried about stats. If you get A, you're okay. All right? Now, with evolutions, there's going to be a couple things I want to note and some more important things to note. Universal fragments, mostly you're going to get most of these from shops. A lot of these fragments you're going to get from shops, virtual shops, stuff like that. Other content, you're going to be fine. There are some outliers, though. For instance, if we're talking about characters like Goku Black, not Goku Black, the Fused Warrior and stuff like that, sometimes these boundless characters specifically will need this boundless orb, and they'll become boundless. Now, I don't really care for Vegito. Honestly, I don't really care. Beast Gohan's coming out. Cell Max is coming out. Other future characters, if you're watching this in the future, then, just know that boundless characters do require the boundless orb from the World Tear. The World Tear is actually not too far from here, actually. It is on the map somewhere right there. That's World Train. Universal Tear right there. See that? Universal Tear. You click on Universal Tear, and then you'll see the strongest of today. You go into it. There will be other content like this in the future, but as you can see, boundless orb, 2% chance, or you get it from a pity. That's just pretty much where that ends right there. Now, I do like this little clicky thingy that we can do. We can just click on the thing, and then there we go. If you guys didn't know that, drop a like. Besides that, though, other things we need to talk about evolution is specifically characters like, what's a great example? I think the greatest example I could say is probably someone like Gogeta, for instance, and rival characters require rival fragments. Now, rival fragments do require specific things being done, and those just have to do with evolution specifically. Literally, they could be anywhere, and it will tell you whenever you're actually looking for specific content, or whenever you're trying to evolve them. You can click it, it will tell you the location, but as you can see, Unrivaled Fragment 1, and then this one's for Angel Born in Hell, Fragment 2, so they're kind of mixed around everywhere, and you will see those as you kind of get around. Now, that's pretty much it for evolution. Now, let's talk about relics. Now, relics are going to be a little more important. The reason why I'm not talking about anything else here is because that stuff is kind of irrelevant for what we're talking about right now. So, let's go ahead and get into relics. Now, relics are pretty interesting, but the system itself kind of sucks. The reason why is because it just requires so much work, and I don't like it because you're wasting a lot of time trying to do stuff, and the one thing you need to know is what does your character need, and what kind of set do you need, because a lot of sets come with very good perks. For instance, this set in itself, landing a critical buffs the unit's damage freaking by 45% for 20 seconds. 10-second cooldown between buffs. And whenever you get the full set, that's how you get the tag. You have to get the full set. Now, over here, inactive set. Now, the thing is, you do get bonuses here. For instance, you do get bonuses for having the character have very specific tags. If you do not know, characters do have specific tags. For instance, Ace's tags are literally just peace for one piece. Zamasu does benefit from the villain tag. Luffy benefits from main character, pirate crew, warlord, peace, and hero. And now there are some characters like unrivaled characters, which are leaders in the game, and these leaders end up being the characters that you need specifically to buff these specific tags. For instance, if we talk about the passives, unrivaled mark for all units owned by the player, yada yada yada, more damage, stuff like that. Now it's going to change over time, and there's going to be more characters that release, so do keep a lookout for unrivaled characters, especially if they benefit your team. For instance, I do like Gogeta and the way that he performs. Also, I do like the fact that his passive gives an unrivaled to fusion, super warrior, element of light, stuff like that. Now, the problem is that this stuff is just not really going to matter too much whenever we talk about Gohan, except for maybe super warrior and maybe light. We do not know what some of the stuff requires content-wise. Now, besides that, though, after we talk about that, we need to talk about the rolling system and how that works. Now, the rolling system sucks. I hate it. It's actually trash, and it's one of the more annoying systems to actually add in any freaking game. So whenever you power up an item, just remember the item, what it looked like, stuff like that. And what we want is we want these. Now, these little bonuses right here, these little bonus numbers will tell you exactly what you need to know. For instance, if we could get a 3, that will be amazing. If we could get a 4, that would be amazing. If we could get a 5 on one stat, that's godly. That's a save for the rest of your days type of stat. It costs a lot of gold. It's very annoying and finicky to do. And freaking, I don't personally like the system itself, but if we could get like a 3, that'd be amazing, which we're not going to get here at all because it's just not going to happen, honestly. But that's how that works. If you want to roll it, for instance, if you get a 3, let's say a 3 in dot damage, just remember that. You have to physically remember that, because if you do not physically remember that very specific piece of equipment, or you don't understand what the stats look like, then you will forget about the stat and you won't be able to get the benefits. You won't be able to reap the benefits from that specific stat. For instance, this is 20% dot damage, which means this is possibly a 2. If we re-roll this relic, that specific stat will get a bonus to something else, and we got effect resistance. So it kind of just rolls around a little bit, and you'll see, okay, that I think it went to cooldown, I think. And we roll it again. I'm trying to get crit right here. Buff potency. It went to buff potency. Don't care. Crit damage. No. It went back to dot. So you see, it will roll around, and you can lock very specific stats, but you're not guaranteed anything in this game. Honestly, we got 5% on crit. Awesome. 5% on crit rate. We're chilling, I guess. But the whole thing you want to pay attention to is sets, bonus stats, main stats, stuff like that. Certain characters benefit, certain characters don't. Honestly, that's just where we're going to leave that there. Now, let's see how much time we got. I mean, that's kind of like where I want to stop there. If you guys don't care about traits and stuff, of course, you're not going to watch this video. If this video did help you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. Next video, which I'll release as quickly as possible, is going to be talking about character obtainment. How do you get every type of character in the game? All right, take it easy, dudes, and peace out.